What's up, PSGINT family? It's your boy PSGINT here, and today gonna be answering your Q&A questions. It's been a while, and yeah, I love answering your questions and hot takes and everything. It's very entertaining. First one: why don't you open a WhatsApp group? I don't use WhatsApp. I use Twitter, so I have a Twitter group. I don't even have a Discord group because I don't use it, and I wouldn't want to create a group that I wouldn't use. PSG's defense has been awful. Change needs to happen, and don't think about telling me that I'm exaggerating. Need a screener in the summer or something, maybe even more than one defender. Who do you think? I think that we need a centre back because Marquinhos, he has proved himself. He will be the starting centre back, but the other centre back, now that we're playing a 4 at the back, I don't think we have one. Danilo, even for his superb performances, he's not a natural centre back, and I think there are better options than him. Ramos, I think as age has caught up to him, even though he has been decent at least. And Kimpembe, with the injuries and his bad form, I don't really see him as that starting centre back. So I agree, we need someone besides them. Skriniar, amazing option, especially we can go for him in January. And I don't think that Inter's qualification to the knockout stages will change his extension at Inter, because the Inter owners are wanting to sell the club. The Inter owners are still in a lot of debt, and what, 15-30 million extra from some sponsors won't add that much to Inter. So him, and one other option I have is William Saliba. I do not agree that Paris Saint-Germain's defense has been awful. I think it has far from perfect, but still good if you look at a context, and especially when you compare it to the rest of Europe, the big teams, they also have defensive issues. So we need to improve it, but it's not been awful, and yeah, it's not that crazy. Can you give me a shout out your favorite Algerian game? My favorite Algerian game will probably be the loss against Germany in the World Cup of 2014, or I have a banger. It was AFCON, I think, 2011, 2010 against Ivory Coast. They scored a goal in the last minute, and then we scored after them even later on, and then we won in extra time. But yeah, follow my boy Ismail Boumzema, Algerian brother. Given the picks below, what do you think about this fan base? I've seen both. I think it's just because of his situation, people are desperate for anything. Like when he scores something, they hype it up even more because they're desperate, because Ronaldo really hasn't done anything big this season, and I can understand them. Is this the way to go forward? No, but I also think that some other fan bases would behave the same if the same happened to them. Which centre back should we get? Saliba or Simakan? For me, don't need Skriniar. He's old and having an awful season. He's not having an awful season. It's just Inter in general are not as good as they usually were. But yeah, Saliba, that's a big name for me as well. Simakan, I don't know how good he is on the ball. I would rather prefer Saliba, who only has 1 year left on his contract. So if he doesn't extend at Arsenal, we go for Saliba. Easy. I have Saliba over Skriniar as well, but I don't think the addition of Skriniar would be bad, especially with him being very good when it comes to crosses and clearing the ball out, which we definitely need. Honestly, do you see PSG winning the Champions League? I can't answer that yet. It's very hard, but definitely I can see them winning Champions League, 100%. Is finishing second in the group stage be considered as first defeat under Galtier? It's not a matter of getting too tight through tie, but with this team, though injuries to player play their role, we should have topped our group. Oh, definitely, Alpha, but you have to look more into the context. First of all, Benfica, the competitors in our group, they were really good. They were really, I mean, they played at the level that City played when they were in the group with us last season. And listen, we came second because of they scored more away goals than us. Not against us, but against other teams. And it really doesn't matter. Listen, we were always gonna get a tough phase in the knockout stages, and you know what? Bring it on. And I do not consider it a defeat under Galtier. Definitely not. Name, especially with this being his second Champions League season ever and his first with Paris Saint-Germain. And as I said, Benfica were really good. Name the league and player you would most like at PSG that isn't already there. I mean, I can choose a player that I would want, and then I can choose a player that would also fit the squad. Name the league and player. Maybe Jonathan David. I would love a bit of Jonathan David, because he also can play a bit more on the right. Jeremy Doku, Stade Rennes. He's really good. He's a right winger as well. I love these flary players. I mean, he plays in Marseille. That's the thing. But Klaus, that plays at Marseille. There was previously as Arcelon. I would take him because he can play both on the left and the right, and he's French. Who would you rather face between these three teams? Real Madrid or Man City or Bayern? If I had to choose one of them, Man City. Man City. Do you think a change is needed for PSG backline? I think that Hakimi has to improve his performances. He has to add more into the game. He needs to focus on his final third thinking. And I think we need one starting centre-back, because Kimpembe, Ramos, and as I talked about Danilo before, no one of them is deserving of a starter spot like Marquinhos is. Who is winning Player of the Tournament in World Cup? I think it heavily depends on who's winning the World Cup, or maybe even who loses probably the final or something. But you know what? I will give it to Neymar. I think he will be the most lively one. Yeah. Who's winning the Champions League this season, and why is it Real Madrid? I still won't say an answer to who I think will win the Champions League this season, and I'm very sure that Real won't win it again. How many UEFA Champions Leagues has PSG won in their entire history? Zero. You happy? Can PSG stay undefeated this season? If it's in Ligue 1, probability. I think you're most likely talking about Ligue 1 only. Huge possibility, but as I've said, only two teams in the top 5 leagues have ever gone unbeaten, and that was Arsenal and Juventus. No, 3. I think Milan did it as well. So it's a huge thing. Even Bayern, how they dominate Bundesliga, haven't done it. Even Real and Barca have never done it. Even though Barca and Real have been really close with only one loss in seasons. And we also had that one season. I think the 15-16 season, we only lost one game. So there's a chance, but I do not want to hype it and say, oh, we'll get unbeaten until we have maybe done at least 28, 25 games. That's where the hype can start. What do you think of the Endrick situation? I mean, listen, if it's true, if he chooses between PSG and Real Madrid, and he chooses Real because of his former love, and I don't know, how he wants to play for Real Madrid, you know what, respect. But if that's not completely true, then I like the tug of war Paris Saint-Germain Real Madrid have, because we're the two biggest clubs. I mean, if you're a football player, there are two clubs you want to join. It's either Paris Saint-Germain or Real Madrid. They offer the most. Real Madrid offer a top-tier team that just won the Champions League with an enormous history and prestige. Paris Saint-Germain offer you the chance to play with the 3 best players in the world at a big, huge club that everyone looks at, everyone sees, and it's just a special club. It's not like other clubs. So I think Endrick will have a very hard to choose between the two teams. Which team would you like to face in Champions League round of 16? Chelsea FC. Here we go. Would you rather lose another Champions League final or get knocked out in the round of 16 again? Champions League final. Listen, I know it's heartbreaking, but I would rather take that. Especially with the context, the new manager and everything. It would be really heartbreaking, but I would take that. I can't take a round of 16. It's so boring. Can you please do player rating after each game as part of after match reaction? I do that actually, Richard. In the post match podcast, we maybe the 5-10 first minutes we just talk randomly about the game, but then we do a player rating for every player in the starting 11, sometimes even the ones on the bench. But if you want me to do one myself, I can add it into my reaction. Favorite Paris Saint-Germain goal before QSI? I would say the Ronaldinho goal against Marseille, or the Ronaldinho goal that looked like Mbappe scored a very similar goal to it. So I think that one, Ronaldinho. And also, which team do you fear the most in knockout stages given our weak defense? I think it's Bayern because of the low crosses they play. and that's our biggest weakness. But defensively they're bad. But yeah, I would say them. But I would say the team that I fear the most is Real Madrid, and it's not because of how they will penetrate our weak defense. It's mostly because of it's Real Madrid. The club you love after Paris Saint-Germain, I don't care about any other club. But I would probably say my local club, AIK. Do you think Ronaldo's battle jobs in El Clasico and countless UEFA Champions League gets undermined because of the UEFA Champions League 3-peat PR? Yeah, I think people's heavy obsession on the Champions League has made what players do in the league not as valuable. And there comes to Messi. I mean, his records in league titles as well and so on. So I think you have to look what people do in the league. And yeah, I would say it's a bit undermined. But I mean, he still did great. Kvaratskhelia or Leao? I mean, I've seen much more of Leao. Kvaratskhelia is a super talent though. I would still say Leao. But Kvaratskhelia is this close. Monkey or donkey? Donkey. Milk or water? Water. Fire or ice? Fire. Verratti or Verratti. Love your content, Idolo. My brother. Props to Güler, Arda Güler from Fenerbahce. The next Ronaldo, what's this bum doing? Yo guys, keep on these. I love them. I can give you even more pitches that you can do the best with. But yeah, this is a really amazing one. Do you think the all UEFA league should stop playing any club matches after 10th of November and postpone the last fixtures? World Cup is coming. Nah, listen, they are already planned for the World Cup, and this is what they did. This wasn't added, this was planned from long ago, so yeah, just do it. I mean, listen, this World Cup in the winter and everything, it's been a horrible show, but just have to accept it. If Neymar requested transfer, which club would you sell him to? Don't send him to a crappy club, it must be in Europe. Alright, I believe you're a Neymar fan. I don't really care where he goes. I would mostly care about the money we get, but if I look at it from his perspective, not the Premier League, Serie A, no. I can only see him playing at Paris Saint-Germain or in the La Liga. So I would probably say move to Real or Barca. Can you dive? No, I actually never dive, but I probably have the possibility of doing it. Did you cry after last season Madrid knocked you out in draft? I did not cry. Listen, I'm a Paris Saint-Germain fan, and the biggest thing about Paris Saint-Germain is we have accepted disappointment early on in the Champions League so many times it doesn't affect us anymore. So I wasn't affected, I was just disappointed. Thoughts on Marquinhos forms? Listen, I've talked about Marquinhos all the time. I've respected Marquinhos all the time, and I've talked about his baby steps throughout the beginning of the season, whilst everyone was slandering me and saying, well, no, you don't do that, it's too small, he's still shit. Yeah, I said he's shit, but he's improving. And now look at him. Now look at my boy Marquinhos. He has been superb so far, especially when we went to the 4 at the back. I think he knows the position more, he knows what to do, whilst it was maybe a bit confusing, the 3 at the back, because he hasn't played there for a long time. But yeah, he has been, he's starting to come back to his best. Are people overreacting on finishing second? Oh, definitely. I mean, people don't look at the context. As I said, Benfica were good. It was first season on the Galtier, new formation, everything, and that happens. And even Galtier talked about it. The goals you conceded, especially the goals versus Benfica, just stupid mistakes. So it wasn't like we came second because we were not good enough, which some people think. We just finished second because it was our own fault. The goals versus Benfica, stupid penalty and own goal. Thoughts on Navas for PSG? I love Navas. Would probably even call him a small legend at the club. But some people are like sad because he's sitting on the bench, and I don't feel anything because he could have left to Napoli in the summer, but he wanted a contract termination, so he gets the 10 mil on his lap. But Paris Saint-Germain said no. And yeah, so him being on the bench, it's his own fault. But I love him. I rank every PSG player this season. Listen, I can make that into an own video, but I can give you a quick top 5. Verratti, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, then Vitinha, Nuno, Donnarumma in one thingy together. Can you do an accent challenge video? Probably. I would try my best. You know what? That's a great idea. You know what? If we get people are watching now, if you get 25-30 likes, it shows that you want to see this video, so I can try that out. Why is Mboubi such a selfish? Listen, I'm not gonna answer these questions. Why is Said Ben Rahma the best current Algerian? Listen, the thing I don't like about Ben Rahma is that he does not ball at the same level he does for West Ham as he does in Algeria. He just does not. He's so much worse with Algeria. Outside of Algeria, he's one of the best, of course. But I would say I love Ben Nasser, Zarouki. He's really good for the national team. So I don't know about him. Who are the top 5 midfielders in the world right now? Great question. I think 3 very obvious, which is Marco Verratti, Federico Valverde, and Kevin De Bruyne. Then you can add a Kimmich, and then Cruz and Rodri together. What does it? Who is winning the World Cup? Brazil or Argentina? Brazil like 55%, Argentina 45%. Where do you see what? The thing about Netherlands is they have the same issues they had in the Euros, which is they don't have a goal-scoring attacker. I mean, Gakpo has been insane, but I don't know if he can match that at a big stage as the World Cup. But if he fixes up, I can see Holland. I think they will probably face Argentina in the quarterfinals, and I think that's where they will lose. So I will say quarterfinals. Who are you supporting in the World Cup? I'm not supporting anybody because my both nations are not in the World Cup. But if there's one nation, I would be like, yeah, let them win. It's Brazil, and it's only for Neymar. A bit for Marquinhos as well. Who do you think PSG will get for round of 16? I think Chelsea FC. That's who I want. That's who I think I will get. 6 or Neymar signed jersey. Neymar signed jersey. That would be bang. Because I would, yeah. The best striker of this generation, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Easily. Not to disrespect the other ones, but listen, if you know how football works, and if you watch a game and you see Ibra, different breed, different. What are your thoughts on this Messi scandal, the incredible stat pad, and also never showing up in a big game? Does it worry that he will bother the UEFA Champions League another time? Mind, what is this with these kinds of questions? No, he's not hiding away in big games. I mean, this season we haven't really had that many big games. I mean, we played Marseille, but he just came back from injury. We haven't played Lorient, we haven't played Lens, but we played Lyon. He scored the goal. He was really good in that game. And then against Benfica in the first game, scored that amazing goal. Are you guys trying to say that Juventus is a better team than Benfica? So I don't really get this argument. And you should stop hating Messi more than loving Ronaldo. Do you think you can sign Endrick while Real Madrid are interested in him? I mean, listen, we got Campos even though Real were interested. We got Mbappe even though Real were interested. But you got Tchouameni even though Paris Saint-Germain were interested. And you got Camavinga. So I think it's a tug of war, and let's see who wins. I mean, of course, Real Madrid are the toughest team to have against you in a negotiation, but it's a battle that I like to see. Will Messi renew with PSG or not? He will. I've said this in the beginning of the summer, and I will continue saying it. Do you think Messi will ever perform in a big game for Spurs? No, but he can definitely perform in a big game against Spurs. Is Real Madrid your real owner? No. How will you react when Gnabry dunks on you in the round of 16? Has he ever done anything against us? I don't think so. Who do you want PSG to face in the round of 16? Who do you not want PSG to face in the round? Who do you think PSG? Oh, that's my question. Chelsea, Real, Chelsea. Will Jet Spence win Champions League for Spurs? No, but you can come to Paris Saint-Germain and then have the possibility of winning the World Cup. Your club is finished. How many UEFA Champions Leagues does PSG have? Alright. Thoughts on the prospect of facing a European giant in the next round? I mean, it's the Champions League. This is the Champions League, and if we get a big European giant, we get it. If we don't, we don't. So yeah, let's bring it on. I'm not worried. Is Real Madrid owning PSG again? Yes or yes? You sold your club for Mbappe nearly. Are PSG better without Messi? No. Mbappe to Arsenal, who says no? Mbappe. Like, you knew I would say that. What are your thoughts on Mbappe creating a new drama again? Do you think he will regret staying at PSG? Actually, this time him creating this drama, I'm on his side because I feel for him. It's because of the failed promises. Do you think he will regret staying at Paris Saint-Germain? No, I think that will come at the end of the season. If we go after 16 again, then yeah, he will have a small regret. Havertz or Mount? Havertz. Who's currently the biggest terrorist in football? Simeone, Allegri, or someone else? Oh, I have a good shout. It's not Simeone, it's not Allegri. It's the Portuguese national team manager, because I think Portugal will battle it at the World Cup. And it's because of how bad their manager is. Yeah, he's ass, he's trash. So I would say he's the biggest terrorist in football. One weakness that PSG has that only PSG fans can see. Crossing. Conceding goals from crosses. Who are you going to support in the World Cup? No team, but if there is one team I would have no problem winning, it's Brazil for Neymar. Why did the... What's your honest opinion on Mbappe as a PSG fan? We all know he wanted to play for Madrid, but the way Nasser stopped him in 2021 and the renewal in 2022 with huge money was shocking. People throw Madrid for applauding, but they forget his comic book and Instagram stories. No, listen. Of course, Mbappe wanted to play for Real Madrid, but if he really wanted, why would he reject them 3 times? He rejected them in 2018, rejected them in 2020, and again in 2022. So this picture of us trapping Mbappe and not making him leave, even though he wants to leave, that's a total lie. All right. And my honest opinion is, I completely understand Mbappe. He would want to play. He wants to finish off his Paris Saint-Germain career with at least a Champions League or something. That's why he only renewed for a short time and then go to Real Madrid. No problem. Assuming that they play in this era, how they did back then, who would you add to this team? Maldini, Beckenbauer, Jalman Nilton, or Baresi? I mean, one of the centre backs. I would choose. I would choose Maldini. I think Beckenbauer and Marquinhos have a similar play time, so I would choose Maldini. Random question, but who won the league in 1976? I guess with your question, it's us, but I really don't know. Is Mbappe your father? No. Worst player in the world and why Messi? Worst player in the world. Sarabia. Why do you hate Ronaldo for clicks? Need a job? I don't hate Ronaldo. I don't. Your first general thoughts when Neymar joined PSG and later Messi? Neymar, I remember I was in France at that time, and yeah, when he first came out, I was like, oh my god, this is fake. This is so fake. But then I don't know. I got spoiled. I got spoiled when Neymar came, and when Messi came, it was like finally, because I knew Messi would wanted to play for us for a long time, and he finally did the move, and I was happy for him. I was happy for us. Why my go-to Ronaldo got rejected by several top clubs? He's old. He's not good enough anymore, and how he plays it really weakens the team. Greatest French player, Zinedine Zidane. Which team do you want to avoid in the draw? You know what team I'm saying? Real Madrid. Have you ever had condom next sec? No. Your favorite for the World Cup? Brazil. Why pretend Messi is the GOAT when he leaves PSG having failed to win a Champions League? Will you then accept him for the fraud that he is? No, because it's an accomplishment that he wants, an objective that he would want, but it's not a requirement. Considering Rashford has rumors to join, would he be a player that you want to sign, be a player PSG should sign? Definitely. I think he's an amazing player. The only thing is, if Mbappe leaves, then you can get him. because he's a left forward, he's an inverted left winger, and that's where Mbappe plays, and I don't want two players on the same position. So right now I would not want Rashford. In the future, yes. Thoughts on Messi, Neymar being replaced by Griezmann next season if one of them leaves? Now, Griezmann can replace Sarabia on the bench if he wants to come. It's always questions about PSG. How are you? Habibi, my brother, I'm good, and I hope you're doing well as well. Well, guys, that was it for the Q&A. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, you can always click that subscribe button. And yeah, this was very lovely to record, and I hope you all have an enjoyable day. And as usual, ale ale, ale bye.